Welcome to today's mastermind meeting for Clear Tai Chi, and I'm Richard Clear, your host, Clear Tai Chi, and welcome. And with us today is also Harry Legg in Verona, New Jersey, outside of New York City.
Hello.
Matt Holker, the regional organizer for Tennessee here in Maryville, and we're outside of Knoxville.
Hello, everybody. Hello, good to see you.
And Greg Nollmeyer in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Ypsilanti, and what else?
Yeah, well done. All good. Hey, everybody.
And Art Don in the Washington, D.C. area, but actually in Virginia.
Hey, everyone. Actually, Maryland.
Maryland. Okay.
I'm in Maryland, yes.
Cool. I'll get it. It'll only take me about another 20 times or so, and I'll have it down.
Okay, no
problem. Jim Kelly in Boca Raton, Florida.
Thanks.
Hello. All right. Who am I missing here? Chris Walsh, and you'll have to tell him where you're at in Maine.
Yep, Chris Walsh here. Hello, everyone. I am in Hollowell, Maine, just outside of Augusta.
Tyrone Talbert, Ty in Colton,
Redlands, California, right outside of Los Angeles. Hey, everybody.
Cool. And then Daniel Stringer in Paisley, Florida. What's that?
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, I just said Paisley. Hello.
Paisley and DeLand outside of Orlando, or like an hour from Orlando, but that part of Central Florida there.
Yep. Hello.
Oh, good deal. All right. Is there anybody I've missed here? All right, gentlemen. So let's start with a word from our sponsor. The things we're going to talk about today, ultimately, what you'll probably find yourself wanting to do is to check out the Tai Chi roadmap, and that is free, and that's at the taichiroadmap.com. And our topic today is going to touch on, it will end up touching on some things covered in the roadmap to help you make better sense of that. And the roadmap to Tai Chi Mastery will show you kind of what the levels in Tai Chi are from beginner to truly master level advanced. And it really kind of lays that out and shows you what that road looks like and what's going on at the different levels of Tai Chi in a way that most people are not familiar with unless they're already a master. And even then, they may not have codified it quite like this, but it will make sense. They'll be like, okay, that, I get that. Anyways, all right. So the topic today is that in your own words and being very specific, why do you study Tai Chi and why do you teach Tai Chi? And what I'm looking for, it's really easy for people to say, well, I get relaxation out of it. I feel better because of it. The sort of the answers that you see on marketing for Tai Chi and that kind of thing. And so I'm not asking you to go through the laundry list of simple answers you'd put in an ad. I'm really looking for, why do you personally do it? What do you personally get out of it, like directly? So if you're saying I get this relaxation, talk about that. And what are your favorite personal benefits? The things that you actually enjoy and like and that make you want to keep coming back to it. And how you've got that. In other words, how does this actually act out or play out in your life? And then I've got questions after that, but I want to start with that stuff. And so, Ty, you want to go first? You're the first guy up on the roster there.
Sure, no problem. I study Tai Chi because of what it's done for my PTSD. To be very specific, I was very antisocial. I did not have any contact with anyone outside of my family for several years. I also, when I did have contact with other people, I was always afraid that I would hurt them. And I no longer have a fear of me hurting someone else. I'm able to socialize, and now I'm able to go ahead and pass on those things, benefits to other vets.
Was there any specific part of the Tai Chi that you would say kind of helped you to do that? And I see why you want to help pass that on to others. I mean, that's an important thing right there. So
it was a combination of things. One is that the first thing is that all the people I met initially in Tai Chi were very helpful, very friendly, welcomed me into the family. No matter who I was dealing with doing Tai Chi, around the country and even outside of the country. And then the second thing was just that I became more aware of what was going on with me. What were the things that triggered me? What were the things that made me tense? And then I was able to overcome it with different things from Tai Chi to make me relax.
Yeah, so the personal ting and the feeling and the sensitivity like that really made a big difference. That's cool. Yeah, cool. All right, Harry. Thank you, Ty. Harry.
All right. I didn't know I wanted to study Tai Chi when I started my martial arts journey. I started at a school that advertised teaching 8 different martial arts. What it turned out to be was kind of the fundamentals of them without going deep into the skill sets. It was great exercise, great conditioning. And amongst those 8 was Tai Chi, but it wasn't even a standard Tai Chi form. It was their own proprietary thing. So I went to an event that I saw advertised in Kung Fu Tai Chi magazine back in the day, and it was for the Tai Chi Gala, which used to be up in Albany, New York. And I kind of ventured out of the school on my own and just kind of went and did this for the weekend. And that happened to be your first year being there. And I remember things as simple as being in a workshop, being told, hey, stand in your best Wuji posture. And I'm going, huh? What? Do what? I thought I'd been studying Tai Chi. And then I'm hearing all these terms that are just blowing over my head, Peng Lu Ji on and on and on and on. I'm like, all right, what's this about? And then I'm in your workshop where I got to meet you and some of your students and actually put hands on, and I was blown away. This was unlike anything I'd ever felt or knew existed. And I said, holy cow, I have got to have more of this. And I had no idea how it would pull me in and really, really change my outlook on so many things. So it's kind of the blew my mind factor as to why to study it. And then all of the various benefits that come along with it, the laundry list of cliche things you mentioned that we would, mention in marketing. But I have found that I love the martial side. The fun is really high for me when I'm pushing hands and doing that sort of stuff. And even if it's not, competitive push hands, it is fun learning the subtler skills and the things that we are doing that don't involve much physicality at all. I absolutely love that. And there is constantly something more to learn. So I really enjoyed that. I also have a hard time, like when we talk about Tai Chi, because of what I'm studying with you, I lump in our healing modality as well, Fagung, and some of the breath techniques and other things that I have learned to do on the healing side. And that just blasts this wide open. And we've talked about it in previous ones of these video podcasts. Because of the pandemic and not being able to touch someone and social distancing and all that, we have been practicing our healing modality long distance using Zoom as just the mental construct in between. And to be able to provide connect to my mom in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm here in Jersey, working with our other instructors in Costa Rica and Michigan and all over the place, and being able to practice things like the root drop game, magnetic and electric, and do our actual Fagung stuff on each other is great. I had an opportunity to help a student of mine who was in a head-on collision with an SUV on his bicycle, driving in New York City. And he was all banged up. Fortunately, no broken bones. And he had never experienced any of this energetic stuff to this level and the healing stuff because he's a relatively new student. And I offered to do it for him via Zoom and gave him real relief or helped him find that. And he was blown away. So there are just so many reasons personally to be doing this. And I use it on myself as well if I've got knee pain or things like that.
Cool. You said when you felt that touch at the Tai Chi Gala and that what that felt like, that really kind of got you intrigued and interested and for lack of a better word, excited and very strongly interested in. I want to know more about that and I want to do that. What what would you say you were feeling or experiencing with that that gave you that that made you kind of want more of that and to get into that?
Well, I'm a somewhat bigger guy, so touching hands with some of your students that you had brought with you that were kind of small and very skinny and scrawny.
I had a couple of them there like that.
Yeah. Then some weren't, and just the way they effortlessly moved me. What on earth is going on? And it wasn't the there's a gazillion ways to play push hands, but it wasn't the standard, we're doing this sort of thing, push hands, where too many people make it about the limbs and the physicality of it. It was hands on the torso and virtually nothing going on here. And it would repel me off, or they would do just the least bit and I would move. And the whole root thing, feeling root with you back then was something I hadn't been taught. I had another teacher say, okay, root, and having no idea, I tensed up. Yeah, I'm rooted. The exact opposite. People just are not teaching, are not teaching things at the level you are, and taking it much further into the energetic side and the skill that we're learning and the things that we can do with that. It's just wide open. And the fact that I know that this is multiple lifetimes of learning, I want to continue on the path as far as I can possibly go.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Matt, I'm trying to, by the way, if at any point you go, why am I doing that order? I look at the screen, it's got all the little boxes and I just pick the next box. So I'm sorry if you're if the order is funky somehow or whatever there. All right.
Good. I am happy to be the next box for the moment. So, so I studied Tai Chi. I started studying Tai Chi because of the martial aspects of it. I got into the martial arts at a young age. Unlike Harry, I was a very small kid. And so I was always like worried about getting picked on and that kind of thing. I was at least a lot more conscious of it. And I didn't go to like a rough school or anything. So I had a relatively easy time of things, but I was very, very small. And so I started karate when I was 5 and I did it until I was 15. And I was a size 0 gi the entire 10 years. Like I was starting to grow out of my size 0 gi at the age of 15. So to give you some idea. Yeah. So I really wanted the martial arts that were for the little guy, that were that kind of, you don't have to be the bigger, stronger guy if you have smarter movement and real internal juice and internal power that way. That's really what I wanted, was that sort of mind over matter kind of martial arts skill. And karate was what was available in my area. But I did have the good fortune of running into, my 5th grade teacher was a Tai Chi student. It turned out he was a private student of T.T. Liang, who was in Minnesota, before, around or before when I was in 5th grade, and my teacher had studied with him some. And so he actually saw me deal with a bully. I couldn't make the karate work. I was too small and weak, but I had figured out sort of timing and positioning from my sparring training that we did in the karate. And so I could read movement and intention, and kids aren't very sophisticated about how they fight normally. And so I was able to just basically stay out of the way until the kid fell down on his own face. And my teacher respected that, and he pulled me aside and said, "Where did you get your Tai Chi?" And I don't know what you're talking about. I do karate, but that wasn't even really karate. That's just something I kind of figured out. And he said, no, that was like a really low level of how Tai Chi fights. If you're interested in, like, if that's how you're naturally kind of wanting to operate, you're probably going to want to check out Tai Chi. And so then he shared with me some things that he had experienced, like about root drop, and some of the kind of, what at the time, as a kid, I thought were some of the zanier things, and it turns out they're really actually the basics, and not really all that difficult to get to when you have the right training. But it still seems so out there when you're hearing it for the first time. But I kept it all in mind, and I went out there looking for it. And I really looked for about 20 years before I found anyone else who was talking about that kind of stuff, you know, from the standpoint of like, yeah, that's really being taught right now. Like somebody is actually teaching that. This is not the Tai Chi of legend. It really is available. And you know, who I found was, of course, Richard Clear. And so Sifu, you know, that's, you know, that the rest of the story is history. I moved here and I study with you, you know, as much as I can. And, you know, the reason that I do that to this day is that what I've discovered about Tai Chi is that way beyond the martial aspects of it, which are very cool and are still something that I'm very interested in, but like way beyond that, there's a mental and a spiritual aspect to it that is so fascinating and really changes your perspective on the world and the way that the way things operate on this plane of existence and what is really possible here, and you know, the limits of human potential and your own potential. It's very empowering. It's a very empowering experience to be, you know, to even scratch the surface of some of the things that Tai Chi has to offer. And so, you know, I'm the kind of person, when I get fascinated by something, I really dive in head first. And so, you know, Tai Chi offers that for me, and there seems to be no end to it, which is another great thing about it that, you know, that excites me, is that it really seems to be one of those things that I can plumb the depths of it forever. And you know, I'll still be engaged in this activity, you know, for the rest of my life. I'm never going to quit, because I'm never going to hit an end point. And that, I think, is just wonderful. And I love it. And so, of course, I would teach it to other people. But beyond that, I teach it mostly because I just get so much more out of it personally when I can teach people. I mean, it's a rewarding experience when I can bring anyone to the realization of what Tai Chi has to offer. But then when I can take someone who actually wants those skills, and I can explain things in a certain way or help them troubleshoot issues that I didn't personally have, it opens up my whole world and it makes my skill that much better. And so, like, just for purely selfish reasons, I love teaching Tai Chi. You know, I just get so much out of it every time I'm with a student, especially if they're an eager student. You know, then it's off to the races. So yep, so that's so I think I covered all the questions.
Yep.
Good. All right.
Cool. Chris? Thank you, Matt. Chris.
Yep. So, I without going into like the Chris Walsh origin story, basically, you know,
That's okay. Part of the reason I'm doing this with you guys today is so that our audience there will get to know you guys a little bit.
Great. So I've always just been kind of a loner. All my life, childhood, growing up, I've always been a loner, and I've always found when I am involved in any kind of a group activity, it's still sort of a singular thing. You know, in high school, I ran track, and I became the captain of the track team. I ran cross country, then I became the captain of the cross country team. It just seemed like in my life, there's always been this underlying theme that when I get involved in something that I enjoy and I develop a skill, I want to share that with people. And it's the sharing that creates the community around me. And that kind of takes me out of being the loner that I naturally am. And I don't seek out an audience. It just seems that it happens. So I didn't look to become an instructor. I didn't look to become a Tai Chi instructor. But it became a thing that I had to do because I'm developing these skills. And deep down inside, what I want to do is I really just want to help people. You know, that's rewarding to me, is when I feel that I'm able to help a person get from one point to the next point because of a skill that I've learned. That's really rewarding. So, you know, that's why I teach, and also why I practice. You know, I need constant development. If I reach plateaus that I can't get past, then I get bored and I'll quit and I'll move on. And you know, that's why I want to help people too, because there is more. And in Tai Chi, I can't see an end point. You know, right now, all I can see is this avalanche of information, and the difficulty is processing all of it. So I hope to get more footing underneath myself and consume it quicker. And I also want to expand it in my school to be able to reach out to my entire community and beyond, and make a large presence. Up here in Maine, there's just not much in the way of Tai Chi, and I'd like to change that.
I do treat that the same way that they talk about how do you eat an elephant.
Yeah.
One bite at a time.
Right.
And it's that. And so I know the elephant's there and all that, or the thing the size, you know, the hamburger the size of the elephant, or the salad the size of the elephant, whatever you're
right.
Anyways,
and then with your concept where we talk about be here now, you know, that makes a big difference in training too, because I do need to focus on aspects of the Tai Chi training. And in all of, you know, the past where, you know, I considered myself an athlete, everything that I would approach, I'd get to a point where I didn't have the skill, and I had to spend time just on that one thing over and over until I could get that skill, and then I could integrate it. And I really enjoy doing that.
That's, and Tai Chi is absolutely, that's part of what's going on long term.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
What is internal power? Most people only understand external exerting power, which is another way of saying tense muscle strength. Bigger, more tense muscles equal more power. That's external power. Internal power comes from pretty much anything except tensing your muscles. There are many sources of internal power, and tapping into them is more of a mind skill than anything else. This is where the phrase mind over matter comes from. My name is Richard Clear, and internal power is what I do. Students come to me for the mind over muscle secrets of internal power that are hard to find anywhere else. Over the past 40 years, I have figured out how to get students on the fast track to effortless power. I created a one-of-a-kind online program that is getting such amazing results for my students that I put a money-back guarantee on it. Find out more at internalpowerkeys.com. That's internalpowerkeys.com. Thank you. Jim?
Yes. How you doing?
Hey.
Well, I got involved in the martial arts, you know, early on. You know, I was raised in the inner cities up in, you know, Brooklyn and Manhattan, New York City. So I started with the different martial arts early on. The Shotokan, the Tang Sudo, and Jiu-Jitsu. And then as a career with law enforcement, I wound up, you know, applying a lot of that and using it. Later in my career, I was injured in a drug bust in Washington Heights, taking down an apartment and won the fight, but walked away with some, you know, some bad injuries. As a result of that, they wanted to do back surgery, neck surgery. So I got into the Tai Chi as an alternative to the surgery. So I've been studying Tai Chi now for over 20 years, 24 years, I guess it is.
What kind of difference did that Tai Chi make to what you did then make to your back for the state that it was in? Like, what kind of state was your back and neck in, and then how much difference did you get from the Tai Chi on that?
You know, it's so important, you know, to realize the medical benefits. I started Tai Chi, and like I said, I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. I had to roll out of bed onto the floor and then slowly work my way up.
Yep.
And after doing just the forms, I would say the first couple of instructors I had were, you know, very focused on form work, stretching, more of the physical aspects. Mm-hmm. After about 2 or 3 years of that, I started coaching again at a high school for MMA, the mixed martial arts. And I was able to exercise and spar with the kids and, you know, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids again. So just the basics, you know, were real good. And again, started in the beginning just the form work, and I guess it was probably, oh gee, after about 10, 12 years of, I would call it like just basic Tai Chi. I had met Harry, and Harry had introduced me to your teachings, and then I met you at the gala. I think after they started holding it in Pennsylvania, was the first time, and just having that, like a couple of guys had mentioned, that influx of information. Explained a lot to me from doing the basics for so long. I guess I caught bits and pieces. I did start to feel some of the chi and the energy work, and I worked in a couple of more settings as a law enforcement officer, and I just found that I was able to utilize something else besides brute force to try to gain that compliance. And I worked in a reform school for a little while with troubled kids, and had to go hands-on a few times, and there was no damage, no, they actually commented on feeling the energy, and they started calling me the bruja, I guess, which is a Spanish word. So
the Spanish word for witch. Oh, that's too funny.
So I felt, some of the basics, but then learning the Fagong, and with your direction and teaching, it's been progressing ever since. That is one of my favorite now. One of my favorite aspects of the Tai Chi is the internal energy, and being able to direct that, to feel it, to acknowledge it. And it was something that I did not believe in beforehand. So when I see a lot of these guys on the forums, knocking internal energy, and there's no such thing, and everything is external, and you just want to reach out and shake them a little bit. Let's come on up to a seminar or something, and
come feel it. Yeah, that's right.
Get a little piece of it, and there's always another aspect to it. And
so you really like what it did for your back, and then what else? What else did you? What other thing is it that's kind of kept you doing it long term? I'm hearing that you really like working with the energy and feeling the energy in that too. So
yes, yeah. And I'm still using it in the street, and it amazes me that I'm able to accomplish what I used to have to use much more physical force to accomplish. And as a result of that, I find first that I'm not injuring myself, getting things done. I'm not injuring the other person, which is great. And then after an incident, I'll be talking to a lot of younger guys, 30, 40 years old, and they'll be, oh my God, I'm sore. I can't believe, we had to walk 8 miles the other day in full gear, or we had, wrestle with somebody, and, my calves hurt, my back hurts, and, I have either no aches or pains, or the recovery time is so minimal that, it's just, these are the things that I attribute directly to the Tai Chi, and being more in control of that. And like I said, I've been teaching it now for quite a while, and teaching more of the Clear Tai Chi as we go along. But the same goes for the students. I feel as if I'm paying it forward by teaching the Tai Chi and improving other people's lives. And I get a lot of people that'll come in with walk into a class with a cane, and 2 or 3 months later they're able to maneuver on their own again. They're able to function better. You just look at people's demeanors. They walk in hunched over and look like they're carrying the world on their shoulders. And, you know, a couple of classes, they're like, oh my God, I feel great. I can sleep at night. I feel so much better. I interact with everybody much, I'm not aggravated when somebody does something, or, so so many different aspects or effects on the individual lives that,
yeah, it motivates me as well.
yeah.
All right.
So,
Thanks, Jim.
all right.
Daniel? Daniel still here? Nope. Okay. Greg?
Yeah, for me, I think like Tai Chi is like the world's best experiment. And I love running it over the years for all kinds of different reasons. So it helps me be at peace, and it helps me be at war, and everything in between. So initially, I'm getting into it because, man, this is kind of cool and this is sort of interesting or whatever. But what I'm testing and then getting the feedback to grow on is everything from like, can I run this energy? And if I can't run this energy this way, what do I need to open up, change, let go of, and evolve to do that? That's just an excellent experiment to be able to run, to be able to evolve as a human, or whether it's, can I do that in half a second so it's actually functional, in terms of some sort of martial context. And so for me, it's really just that experimental nature brings so much energy and so much positive change in my life, because I can see it, I can feel it, and I can adapt as a result of it. And I'm excited to teach because I feel like it's very hard for people to get much nuance and depth in their lives, I'll say. So the notion of, wait, no, I can actually be in good wuji. And when I'm in good wuji, I'm a little calmer and I feel a little more. I have like a little more sense of myself. I'm a little more me when I'm in that. Hooking people up to themselves is awesome.
Yeah, yes. Cool, man. And so yep, I get it. Okay. Who have I left out here, if anybody? Is there anybody on the call that I haven't had you weigh in yet? Art.
Yeah. Hi. Well,
Thank you, Greg. Sorry.
Introduced to Tai Chi, and I liked it from the beginning. I had someone who explained, not in depth, or the vast amount of energies available, but generally he said, there's chi, and you work it through relaxation and deep breathing, sort of the principles of the internal martial arts, Tai Chi, Xingyi. And so I got a good initial introduction to it, and found that it was very good for getting my whole body connected, in the sense of operating all together, as opposed to, well, an arm and a leg and a foot, sort of as an analogy, the sort of smooth walking, as opposed to a more jerky, uncoordinated style, where everything would just work together well. And with the breathing, it is meditative, and I like that. And I realized that I could relate that to life in general, as I went through that. When moving, move the whole body together as a unit, sort of. And I could shift my weight forwards and backwards on the feet, turn the waist, and not have to do as much individual motion, which I found made me more centered, in the sense of more secure in my stance, posture. I just felt, again, to repeat, very connected with my whole body as a unit. And that was whether for health or self-defense, which actually, not to say that I had to use it for self-defense, but just felt everything was working together, and I could I could use it to my benefit, and I found I could practically relate it just to health because, as I say, I didn't have to use it for self-defense at all, but it made me feel a lot better and more solid and healthier, sort of, which I guess is sort of the trite explanation of it. But again, I just practiced it, and as I practiced it, I felt more of these benefits, and I could appreciate the meditative aspects of the Tai Chi, as I had to spend less time going over what the next posture was that I was doing, and could get to where everything just flowed from one to the next without thought, so I could again practice just the principles of relaxation, deep breathing, and steady motion to gain the benefits of the Tai Chi. And
So I'm hearing you say that you really like the integration of like body and mind and spirit that you kind of were getting out of it. And is it that you like the feeling of that, or that you just kind of kept getting different kinds of benefits because you were doing that, or both?
Actually, yeah, it is both, because I like the feeling of it, but I realized that as I got sort of a better feeling of it, more grounded, more sort of whole as a person, so to speak, I was gaining the benefits that would make me healthier, more solid, stronger feeling, and that gave me a better feeling, and the better feeling would go back to being more solid and more grounded and just healthier.
So what was the health benefit that you specifically noticed, or something that really told you, hey, this is really healthy for me?
Well, actually, in my late teens, I was in an auto accident and was, well, I was incapacitated for a while. My right side was immobile, so I couldn't really do anything with, just half a body. But I eventually became more physically able to move and function with time and exercise and physical therapy. But after I started practicing Tai Chi, I just felt that much more unified, I guess, as a person, and everything was a little, well, at first a little, and then more and more, well, again, unified as one body, as opposed to limbs and a head and appendages on the limbs and things.
Yeah, you're able to take out the blockages and have it all work together, and that. And then, would you say that because of that process, that you're able to pass that on to students pretty well?
Yes, that's the next thing I was thinking of mentioning, actually, and I found that whether a person had a particular ailment or injury or anything to overcome, or just was learning Tai Chi and wanted to become more proficient at it, or I sort of tried to guide them in that direction of, once you get past the sort of completely mental, physical effort of learning the posture and performing it, doing it with, again, the principles of internal martial arts, and you could just flow more from one posture to the next, as opposed to thinking about it and doing it. And people would seem to grasp that concept, and with practice and instruction, become more fluid and
get into the flow, enjoy that, and then also get the benefits of having done that, or being that you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. Cool, man.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else on the call here that I've missed for any of this? Okay, so I just want to make sure I didn't skip somebody or all that. All right. What is or are your favorite Tai Chi things to do or practice? And long term, does it change or is it stayed about the same? And so I'm not looking for a great big lengthy answer here. More, it's just trying to get an idea of it. Do you kind of have a favorite thing or things? And then, you know, and then over time, have you found that that's different things, or is there sort of a theme there like that? And so, Jim, you're the first one up on the list there, I think.
All right, thank you. Well, I think things do change with the different levels that you hit, and there's always something else that I'm finding. So I think at this point, the internal energy, the different jings, has been a focal point of my practice, and also the Fagong, you know, being able to heal with the energy is important to me.
Fagong, Qigong.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's been, you know, where my focus has wandered.
Yeah.
I've also found that, you know, being you know, getting up in years, 57 now, so it's become, I find that the benefit of keeping myself healthy and keeping my body functioning is a little bit more important than the martial aspect of it. So I can still use the martial. It still comes, you know, when it's needed, but I think it's more of an energy base now. So.
Part of that for me too is that, you know, that being able to use it for self-defense and all that to me is important, and I really like it. At the same time, most days, the vast majority of days, I don't fight, but my health and how I feel on a given day, that's like all the time, every day.
Yes, yeah, it's very important, especially with everything that's going around, and
yeah,
you know.
Coronavirus. And all the stress of it.
Yes, yeah, stress definitely wears down the immune system, and you know, any improper alignments, any you know, any ailments that you have make you more susceptible in the end.
Yeah,
it's great with the exercises. Everything is very balanced. Everything is very low impact, so it does creates a great environment.
Cool.
So, thank you.
Yep. Art.
To be honest, I have difficulty picking one particular aspect over another, because as I think about one aspect, I say, well, this is good. For example, rooting, I say, yes, rooting is good. And I work on developing that, but then I think, well, I want to do something with the energy. So I'll think about sending up spiraling energy or repelling energy or something. And how when I'm rooted, my whole body's connected, that I, again, really have difficulty picking one aspect over others.
Well, so what I kind of heard you say before had to do with that being in the flow and working with the energy in that flow seemed to be, and then that's going to be a lot of different things, and yet still that theme is going to be in there. So that's kind of what I heard you say before. Would you say it's more like that or a little different?
Well, that puts it well, yes, and because of course, you know, the energetic aspect and its various manifestations, I guess, is a big aspect of it. But if I really had to pick one facet of Tai Chi that I like and emphasize, that it would really be going through the form, because as I do the form, the various aspects come in, but it's still all related to doing the form and how the energy manifests as I go through that. So I guess my direct answer to the question could be that my favorite aspect is just working the form, and then from there I maybe take particular aspects of it to emphasize.
And working the form for the flow and the energy that you're talking about.
Correct,
as opposed
yes.
to not so much the moves.
No, the moves are just sort of almost a tool for, appreciating, noticing the energy.
Sure. Cool, man. Harry?
It changes constantly for me, but I tend to hone in on something.
Push it.
Thank you, Sifu.
What's that? What's that?
Thank you, Sifu. Yes. Anyway, whatever the thing, I don't want to say the flavor of the moment, because that minimizes it. But whatever the coolest, newest thing I've learned is, I want to own it. So I will spend, whether it's a month or 3 months, or between times seeing you. That's what I work, and that will constantly change. But again, that may be a month or 2 or 3 before I'm ready to move on to the next thing.
Hey, Tai Chi is a very deep art. I would say if you get bored doing Tai Chi, either you don't have a good teacher or you're not working enough, because there's so much that it lends itself to deep long-term study on the individual things, and then there's always more stuff. I haven't found an end to it yet, 43 years into it. And the teachers that I've talked to have been doing it for like 70 years plus. Same thing. They say the same thing.
Yeah. I like one of the analogies you gave once was, and this was a while ago when we were talking about root skill. And you're like, okay, a lot of you are kind of in kindergarten, maybe grade school. It goes to PhD,
Yep.
And so you don't ever think you've completely got something, because you won't completely have it. You can always go
Always get better,
further, deeper.
Always go up a little more. Yeah. Cool, man.
Thank you.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
For those of you who are interested in internal power and want a reliable place to start, and for anyone who wants to experience internal power for themselves, go to internalpowerguide.com. I built a crash course in hands-on internal power. The practical guide to internal power is a work at your own pace online program. It is the course I use to get students from 0 to 60 as quickly as possible, and it is totally free. So sign up at internalpowerguide.com now and get started right away. That's internalpowerguide.com.